when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor?
No.
You were not already in
No.
at the time?
1944 of January is when I enlisted.
Okay.
I was a senior in high school and went the first semester and then quit and joined the Marine Corps.
So you quit during your senior year?
Yeah, I went the first semester, but I didn't even think about graduating or anything. That was a little furthest from my mind. And me and my old buddy, we joined up and joined, and but then at the graduation, they fixed a chair with a flag on it, and mother went and got it. They give me my diploma. So I was lucky.
You and your buddy joined at the same time, so you both went into the Marines?
Yeah.
Okay. What's his name?
Jack Launcer, but he's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, he got in a fight in boot camp, and they made him put on the gloves, and this kid, I thought he could take care of himself, but this kid got a lucky blow and knocked him down, and he hit his head on the cement around the wash rack, and paralyzed him, and he just traveled around.
Wow.
But he always had, if he got in trouble, the Marines had given him a card, and anytime he got in trouble, the Marines come and got him.
Wow. I've asked everybody else if they remember when they first heard about Pearl Harbor. You remember that?
Oh, yeah. I sat by that old radio we had up in Colorado. That's where I lived. And remember that. And we listened to that all the time. We had that radio going. What did that do for you? What did it stir up inside you? Well, I was pretty young then, but it bewildered me that what the heck was going to happen. And then as I got, each year a little more, there's more of the guys is leaving. And so nearly all of my buddies joined the Navy in 1943. And that kind of left me by myself. So at my senior year, I said, I quit. I was having too good a time, and I probably never would have graduated. That's what later I worried about. And so we took off, and then we went up and joined in January, and then they didn't call us. And so we went, and I worked on the railroad. My dad's section foreman, so we could get a pass from Akron up to Denver, about 150 miles. And so we went up there every week. If they didn't call us, we went up there and wanted to know why the Marines wasn't taking us. And so that went on for quite a while. Then they finally did, and we went and signed a bunch of papers. And luckily, I just stood and signed mine. But my buddy pulled up a chair and signed his. And the minute he was done signing, all hell broke loose. That cussed, and who told you could sit down? And I thought then, maybe we made a mistake. But that afternoon, we went to a movie. There's a Marine Corps movie there. And then we'd signed. We was standing up at attention when they played the doggone Marine hymn in that theater. How stupid. Then I thought, well, I went out and called my mom, and I told her what was going on. And I said, we might have made a big mistake. So that's how it got started.
What'd your mom say?
Well, she didn't want me to go. They signed for me, Mom and Dad both. And so we made it.
Yeah.
Made it through there, but he didn't. It was boot camp rough.
Where was boot camp for you?
Yeah. And
where at?
San Diego.
Camp Pendleton?
No, I went there later, but San Diego was for boot camp.
Okay.
And that was a.
So how old were you? 17, 16?
Yeah, I was 17, and then just before the. Let's see, 17. I signed up at 17, and that was in January. Then March 15th, I was 18, and so I was 18 then. Pretty much.
They didn't call you till when? When they say?
Well, oh gosh, about the 1st of March.
About the 1st of March.
Yeah, during a blizzard.
During a blizzard. And you were in Colorado? Is that where you lived?
That's where I was born and reared. Me and my, well, yeah.
Where at in Colorado?
A place called Akron.
Akron, Colorado.
It's east of Denver, about 100 miles out on the prairie.
Okay. All right. And so you volunteered. You were 17 when you joined. Did you have any other family members in World War II?
No. Just me. I had a brother and a sister.
Okay. Gunner, is that your given name?
Yes.
That is your given name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wondered if that might be a military nickname.
No. Well, that's another case. When that gunner got, in the Marine Corps, there is a gunner. And, one time way ahead of the talk, but I got put in, I was in the hospital. I got put there, and they had gunner on it. I was up there in officer country for a short time. And so, as soon as they found out I was a PFC, they moved me down in a ward.
So your first name was a benefit for at least a few days.
Yeah, I did get up in officers country to see it was something else. That was there's an old retired Army Air Force man that is my son-in-law's dad, and he thought that was the biggest thing he ever heard. And he said every time he's with a bunch of Marines when he was young, when he was out in California, he'd tell them about that I was in officers. I got in officers country for a very short time. And,
were they mad at you when they found out? You say, I didn't say I was.
No, I didn't. No, they never said nothing. And then we go out there it's a Devil Dog Run every September. All my kids and grandkids, and they run out there. And they've got my son and my grandson fixed us all a T-shirt with about the Marines and Iwo Jima and all that on it. It stands out. Yeah, and that colonel out there. And then anybody that's been in the Marine Corps, they stop and talk. And the first thing I tell them, that gunner don't mean nothing. I was a PFC.
You were a PFC. So your job was what?
I was in a machine gun platoon, light and heavy machine guns, and that's what I was in.
So tell me about what was your first experience in battle, in war?
Well, it's just we'd practiced an awful lot. And so when we went in, we went in on that LVT, the water could come in, and he'd put the back end down, and the water would come in, and it'd go back out. And most of them was all gone, but I stayed there and waited till the water come in and went back out, and then I was going to get it. But I didn't go fast enough, and that driver turned around, and you can imagine what he said. Goddamn ass, out of here. So
everybody else was gone?
No, there's a couple other guys there too.
So he didn't have friendly words for you?
No.
Now, where was this?
This is on the beach. Red Beach 2.
Red Beach 2 where?
On Iwo Jima.
On Iwo Jima.
In the second wave.
Second wave. Okay. And so this was not training. This was the real
This was the real thing.
The real thing.
And there wasn't too much firing right yet. And so we took off, and this other kid, he's from Butte, Montana. And we just really kind of lost. But then we got up there, we heard somebody hollering. It was our gunnery sergeant of our platoon, and he'd been hit real bad. and he was laying there, and he told us to get up there where we belonged, and so. But he wouldn't let us help him. He said that they was coming after him. But they so that's the last I seen him, and then he did pass away. He died. And,
Right there.
Well, I don't think he even. Well, he's buried in Hawaii. In that, gosh darn, I can't even think what the big cemetery is right now.
So that was your first. So there's gunfire. How long after you hit the beach was it seconds? Was it minutes before you started hearing gunfire?
Oh, we could hear it, but it wasn't bad. And for a while, we didn't know if they was even shooting at us. But me and this old kid I had 3 boxes of ammunition, machine gun ammunition, one in my pack, trying to carry them, and an M1 rifle, and 2 bandoliers of more ammunition, and hand grenades taped on my pack. So we took off running, and then we got up there nearly where we were supposed to, up the edge of the runway, the airport landing field, and we got in a big hole and laid them machine gun cans there, and rested just a little bit. And we looked down, and there was a hole in one of them cans, about a 3-inch hole. And we both looked at each other and said, yeah, we knew that things were getting a little bit hot. And so then we headed out, and we finally got up and rested the guys.
Did you stop and think, if that can?
We can't even, yeah. And it was in our hands as we was running, and that went through that. But neither one of us knew which one was carrying it. But we was right together. But that was the darndest thing.
So your time on Iwo Jima could have been very short.
Right, yeah. It was short for so many. I wish I can show you. I'd like to have you just look at it and just run down. I got all the names in my company, and then there was a column there, wounded or killed, or okay. And there's very few okays. Very few. So, and well, everybody, I've got pictures, and everybody in my squad was hit, and my squad leader was killed. And it was just nearly, well, it's almost 95% or even more that was hit.
You ever stop to reflect? I mean, it's been so long now. Do you stop to every now and then to just say, man, I'm here?
Yeah, and so many are not. Yes, I just can't believe it. But there is, oh shoot. You can't imagine how many people that's gone. I mean, that died that day. I think there over 500, I read a while back, there's over 500 killed that first day. And they were just bodies laying all over. And, man, so that's the way it was. And then it was just we'd go up and we'd be up on line. And then they'd come back, and we'd stay up there for quite a while, it seems like, and then they'd send another company up and go through us. And as soon as they were through us, well, we could go back and rest and get something to eat, get more to eat if we could find it. But that's the way it went.
But could you really rest?
Well, I don't know. I just I don't know. I don't see how a guy can, but I don't know for sure. We had to rest, but because we never had a bath or anything I was the 19th of 1945, the 19th of February, and I finally got hit the 12th of March, 3 days before my 19th birthday. So, but that, yeah, it finally made it. But so many,
And when you say you got hit,
yeah, a mortar come one evening. Well, it's on March the 12th. That evening, we was up on line, clear up there on the front, and we was digging in for the night, and we was running short of people. All the guys that was in machine guns could have a weapon that night. Could have a machine gun because there's enough to go around. And I dug in and had my gun there, and then I was up and around there. It was dusk, and then a mortar come in, hit 5 of us, 5 machine gunners, and so it. And then when they drugged me, they got me in a foxhole. And one kid was hurt real bad. I wasn't too bad. I just got hit twice, and but he got his neck, and he was having trouble with getting the blood stopped on him. Joe Perry was his name. So I was in there, I was doing all right. Then a doggone Jap had crawled up there and was laying beside that doggone machine gun, laying right beside it. And then somebody seen it, and they started shooting and throwing hand grenades. And so I was hollering that I was in there because I was afraid a hand grenade was going to fall in that darn foxhole. So, but guys, they just kept shooting and shooting that one Japanese. So, but then that night, they did get a Jeep up there, a Jeep ambulance, and put us 5 on it. They had a Jeep that's special as an ambulance. They had them fixed out, really pretty darn good, where they carry quite a few. And they finally got us back that night. Back to a field at a hospital, back by the big runway. And then I was there they worked on me that night. And then I'm not just sure what day it was, but they had a plane come in, C-47, and they took me down there. There was a bunch of guys down there. And they was down on the runway, and everybody laying around in stretchers and put me on there and took us a load to Guam, my first airplane ride. And I was looking out that darn window, and that wing flipping up and down out over the ocean because we was going to Guam. And I kept hollering at the male nurse. And he said, "No," he said, it's safe. It's all right. You'll be all right. We'll be in Guam in just a little bit. So that's how far I got back. Got that done. I got back.
So to get to Iwo Jima, you took ships all the way.
Yeah.
So you hadn't flown at all.
No.
Until you were evac basically out of Iwo Jima to Guam.
Yeah, to Guam. Yeah.
Did I believe you said the guy that was hurt pretty bad was named Joe?
Joe Perry.
Did he make it?
Yeah, he did. I finally got a plane or a boat back, and I had a big APAs, they call them, and they loaded all the wounded on there and took us back to IE Hospital in Guam or Hawaii.
Did you see action again after that?
No, I haven't fooled around there, and
the war wasn't over.
No, it wasn't over then.
But it wasn't. It was over not long thereafter.
Yeah, I think. Well, I can't even tell you when that was. But yeah, it was over. June, I think so. It didn't take long.
Yeah.
And so that was.
Gunner, were were you ever? I mean, I just can't imagine fear and all of that. Did it set in your time on Iwo Jima?
That one time. Otherwise, I done pretty good, I thought. But one night I was watching, we was right at the edge of that airfield, and we had flares all night. It was light, and I kept looking there, and I guess it was vegetation of some kind. But as that flare come down and on that parachute, wiggling back and forth, all them was wiggling, and I had a gunnery sergeant. Well, he was from Snyder, and I started screaming for him. I said, "Here they come!" And then it upset him, and so he was screaming, and it was all my fault. But that really got, because I could just imagine a mass of them coming. But it was imagination, I guess. But yeah, that was a bad time.
Well, and when the Japanese guy was right there by the foxhole, that's pretty scary too, I would imagine.
Well, it was more scary that somebody was going to be shooting everybody. That's what always happened. If there's somebody, them guys, they'd put a torch, again, a flamethrower in them, and them guys come out screaming like a big cat, screaming, them Japanese, on fire. And the Marines always surround them and start shooting. Everybody shooting. And I thought, oh, man, somebody's going to get hurt that way too.
Yeah.
So
you remember those screams?
Yes. Yeah, like a big bobcat or something. Yeah, I worked over Snyder out from my uncle and aunt at the rock quarry, and I worked nights. And when I'd get off, I'd run around to their house, because that's where I stayed. And one of them suckers would, I don't know what it was, scream, but it sounded just like that sound. Just like a big cat screaming. And that bothered me then. But I guess, but that's the only time I told my wife once, I said that scream, I could really, the way they screamed. And running and on fire. So that, it was something else.
Not an image that you can easily escape, is it?
No, a lot of stuff, but I don't know. I just very, very lucky, and there's some of us was lucky. Well, all of us got hit. Everybody in my squad. My squad leader was killed, and the rest of us all hit. And he in the third section is what I was in. There's two squads, and then the squad leader of the other one on the sixth squad, he got killed, and he had the buddy that they was on Liberty together, always together, and it took his head off of that corporal, and rolled it, and he's up his buddy's arms. Yes, there. So the squad leader was named Wilson, and his buddy was Messman, and he stayed in the Marine Corps and retired as a captain. But that's the way things was.
You remember, this is a long time ago, but you remember, it's almost 7 years ago. You remember the names, you remember the faces, I'll bet. You remember the screaming. There are
memories. That's theirs, yeah. That was, of them screaming like that, that's what I can remember best. And, but it was our battalion commander killed. Talked to him just before he was killed, because we'd come back to rest, and me and another old kid went back, and they had a dump back there where they was putting supplies. And we grabbed a big box of rations and took off running back to there because we just come back from up on the line, and we no more got to sit down there and tearing that apart. And Colonel Butler come by, and what we was worried, but I guess it was kids really. And he was so nice, and he said just be sure to get fed and rest because you're going back up on the line, and I'm going up right now, and to look it over. But how often he got in a Jeep and his driver and a couple of other guys to go up there to check it out, and they blew that Jeep up, killed them all. So I often wonder why would he? Because they could zero in on anything that was moving down there, but they zeroed in on that doggone Jeep and killed the driver and him and them other two guys.
Before you went on the honor flight, had anybody talk to you about it? Said, "Oh, Gunner, you got to do it." And what did you know about it before you went?
Well, I'd read about it before. That I'd seen it in the paper where they'd had one, and I didn't know what they were talking about then. And then when it come out in Lawton paper, my daughter, she works at the Bishop School. Well, she said you was going to that, and I said yes, I want to go to that. I want to go make that trip. So find out all you can about it. And they put me in right away, and so that. Man, it just worked out so smooth. Usually you get in a big bunch like that, there's always going to be foul ups. Everything went so smooth. I still can't get over it. And my daughter that went with me from Denton, Texas, she can't get over how smooth it went. It's unbelievable, really. Because it seemed like everything I get into, I get fouled up. I seem like I've been very lucky. So it was a good trip. Such a good trip.
Did you say to yourself when you first heard that it's one day, that you're flying up there, and then you're going to see all this stuff, then you're flying back, did you say, holy smokes, how can we make this happen?
I didn't even think about that, never even thought about it till almost the last day. I never even thought about that one day. But I was just going. That's what I wanted.
Had you been to D.C. before?
No, I hadn't been much past Oklahoma City. But I'd always wanted to go to see that. I wanted to see that flag raising. Because I don't know none of the other Marines if they were on there or not. Nobody ever said nothing, so I don't know if they was on Iwo Jima or not.
So you wanted to see the Iwo Jima Marine?
That was my big thing. That's exactly, and my daughter too, Judy Murphy. She wanted to see it too. And when they said that they might not stop unless some of the Marines want to get out, and Judy said, "Well, we want to get out, and we want to go up there," and so we did, and got up there, and little kids come up and ask to have their picture taken with you. And some of the teachers would come up and ask if one of them, I know one little girl, and she wanted to take a picture with me, but afraid to ask, so she went and talked to her sister, her teacher, and then after that, all the kids was coming up, and they was still coming up when they sent Judy back up there to tell me to come on because I was holding it up. So it was special. A lot of them kids. I'm really amazing how that day turned out. And when we took pictures out there, I had a red Marine Corps jacket on. And we were looking at the pictures the other day and I said, boy, I'm lucky I had that red jacket on, or you never would have found me, and they're all in blue. So I knew that was me. And yeah, the meals, we can't get over the meals. Everybody, I don't travel too much, but they always said a package of peanuts and a Coke about all they'd give you. And I could not believe that they fed us so good. Just perfect. It was a perfect day. Just enjoyed it so much.
Gunnar, the kids. We talk about the kids. It was amazing to see those kids that were so young.
Yeah. I just didn't believe it either.
It was spontaneous.
Yeah, just one right after another coming. It was. It just. Yeah, it would just bewilder me and my daughter how things turned out. And then what really got me when we went in there one airport and all them sailors come out there and all shaking hands. And then that one, I had a Marine emblem on there, and he saluted me. And I thought, how great that was. Even the sailors instead of swabbies. we caught hell on them ships with them Navy. If we was on that APA, you know how we was stacked on there. And you eat, get up and get around, and you get in another line so you get closer for dinner. And that was the way all the time on them APAs. So many people. But they when we was on there, they got us to up there in one of the tubs that had a big gun. And they put us up there I don't know what we was watching for. I was supposed to probably submarines or something, but we were so happy to get up there because we had a little area and we went to the line first to eat. They got us in. So that paid off.
So were you reluctant to call them swabbies?
Well, I hope not, but I'll tell you, every time we got on that ship, they'd get us out of the hold and get topside and then have a clean sweep down. And, there'd be a lot of upset people. Then they'd turn all them fire hoses on, and while we was up there. And I know we had a lot of trouble with one time for sure.
Did they call you jarheads back in the day? Is that what they called the Marines?
Yeah, when seagoing bellhops and jarheads, and yeah, and it's just the way it was.
Going back to at Arlington National Cemetery, I was over shooting as the buses were starting to unload. I was shooting the gravestones, and I just heard this applause that just started, and it just kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going. And it was that school from Houston, Texas.
It was.
The kids and some of the parents and the teachers, but it just seemed like it went on forever. I mean, it just happened. Yeah. Did you see that? Were you there?
No, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
Yeah.
Well, you'll see that when we show this on TV. And then it was like it was like a receiving line where all the guys were lined up in wheelchairs and people were shaking hands, and it was just one after the other. And it wasn't just one group of kids, and it wasn't just one school. Gunner, it was kids from all over the country.
Yeah, I told them.
What's going through your mind?
Well, I thought them young kids don't. I doubted if they knew what they was even thinking about. I imagined that the teachers told them exactly what to do. Do you think that way?
No, it didn't happen that way. I
didn't know.
They said it just happened. There was one kid that his name was Elliot. He was so overcome with emotion he broke down in tears because his grandfather served in World War II. And he never met his he didn't die in World War II, but he had passed before this kid was born. And he was so honored to meet guys just like you that served in World War II.
Isn't that something? Yeah. Yeah, it is very, very, very rough sometimes.
How many times did you hear the words, "Thank you for your service" that day?
Day after day, or hour after hour, all day. Whenever we stopped, even them young kids, thank you. And I really didn't know what to say back. But it was, yeah, it was, that's what I told them. I couldn't believe all them kids that would come up like that. And that it just done. I couldn't get over how it was that they was be like that. So shoot. Yeah, I can't. But the memorial up there, I mean the flag raising, that was really something. Them kids come up there, and then they had a bunch to come up there and want a picture. So I put my arm around them and have a picture. One little girl, she wanted a picture with me, and she was afraid to, and she asked that teacher, and the teacher come up and asked me. I said, "Gosh, yeah, something else." Yeah, and they couldn't believe it either. Even that teacher couldn't believe it, that this was going on. How great it was.
Have you ever been thanked for World War II service that many times in one day?
Never. These young kids around here, they don't even know what the heck that is. It just irritates you that they don't even know what the heck went on. And they don't seem to care.
These kids cared.
Huh?
These kids cared.
Well, my grandson, I thought the same thing about him. He's a fireman now, just a new fireman in Lawton. And he texted us a letter how much he loved me. And I just thought he was didn't even care, but he did. And but he called, or he texted his mother, and she come over and read it to me about his grandpa. So shoot, yeah, I don't know that. I hope they do. It just they get to know what the heck went on. And no doubt there's going to have to go again, too. In my mind, I see it coming, don't you?
Yeah.
It's going to be.
When you first saw the Iwo Jima memorial, the flag going up, you were at Iwo Jima. You saw people that didn't walk away from that place.
You can't imagine how many that didn't get away. I mean, I've got in there the list
When you first saw that memorial, what were you thinking?
I really don't know what I got to see that, and I wanted to see it so bad because I didn't I didn't figure I'd ever get to see it, and but the kids have talked about taking me, and there's a big Marine museum that's that they're built it's built, but they keep adding on to it, and I kind of like to see it, but I'll never get to see it. But I did get to finally see that, see the main one.
The people that organized the honor flights here in Oklahoma, what do you have to say to them?
I couldn't thank them enough. I couldn't thank them enough. I hope to I don't even, I guess have Midwest City as headquarters, and I wonder what they went through to put that on, and so much. Think back how much they went out of their way to do. I didn't think anybody ever cared that much, but they do. So I don't know about anything else. Just
among the things that you have happened in your lifetime, where do you rank this trip?
Well, it has to rank at the top because I've never had a chance and been so organized. No hurry up and wait, and hurry up or yeah, it is just, oh man, whoever was head of that done a terrific job. It just it's just how smooth it is that they carried it off. No waiting. Everything was moving all the time and taking care of you.
The vets that will watch this that were saying, I don't know if I want to go, and you have an opportunity to plant a bug in their ear, what would you say to them?
I said it's a chance of a lifetime, in your lifetime. And the treatment you get is above anything else. Anybody that would turn that down would, I don't know, have to just to be treated that nice and be around friends. Meant so much to me. So they're just, I guess there is another one coming up pretty soon, isn't there?
Yeah.
Boy, surely. Well, I sure will tell them. What a great time it is. What a great time. You're well taken care of.
Did going to Arlington National Cemetery, did that stir up any memories? Just seeing, I mean, I had no idea it was that big.
Oh, I didn't either. No, I could not believe them. It's getting to be like that out here. That's where I'm going. Me and my wife are going out here. But good gosh, I couldn't believe how up on the hills and the valleys, and there's markers all over the place. I don't know. And what kind of bad is they're getting the stones messed up. They surely got them straightened out by now, I hope.
Yeah.
Because that'd be terrible.
Did you think about anybody in particular?
that would be there.
Yeah, or just did it stir up any memories in you that you didn't anticipate?
No, not really. Not that I can think of. I just I just know that there's a vet there under every one of them things. Couldn't imagine that many there. And where they are, they're up on little hills and all. They just row after row.
Did you feel pride looking at the Iwo Jima Memorial?
Yeah, that was part of me. To know that I was there. And I did make it through. That was something very, very special to me. And I don't know. I just it just something special. It was so special to me to know that I'd have been there and what happened there. Just, so many people, my company, so many, just so few made it. Just my company and officers that I knew. Our executive officer was killed. My platoon leader was killed. So, but it just so many.
You said you didn't think about it being just a one day whatever. Was it worth? I mean, there's a lot of sacrifice. You had to get up really early in the morning and all of that. Was it worth it?
Yeah, there was excitement to get ready to go. Get down there and get ready to go on that, and know you're going to be flying there and not take too long to get there. And they were just excitement coming on all the time, because I just don't get to do stuff like that.
Thursday night, when the band was playing, you guys were filing in. I had no skin in the game, so to speak. I didn't know a soul that was there. I didn't know anybody that was marching in. But I felt it was an emotional experience for me just to watch all of you guys come out there and be recognized after all these years. It was emotional for me. What was it for you?
It's, I don't know how to say, but it is a very emotional deal, because most of them guys went through what I went through, and I went through, or they went through what I went through, and all, and they all had most of them had a taste of war, and then some of them, a couple of guys from Frederick, we got to kidding around when they give us those sacks with our hat and stuff in there. I said, that's just about right to carry beer. And then guys, yeah, would be, what they call that, on having Liberty Hounds. That's what it was. Liberty, and Mom's told Mom that, and boy, she didn't like it a bit. She said, "Now they'll think that's all you do." And so she didn't like me saying that.
By Mom, are we talking about your wife?
Yeah.
We won't include this. I don't want to get you in no trouble, Gunner. I don't want to get you in no trouble.
But just them guys, they was in the second division, one of them, and I was in the second division for a while, after done away with the fifth division, they done away with it, and so I was in the second division in Japan, and we went over there, and some of the first troops there on Kyushu, and they put us down there guarding the dry docks in Sasebo. And then we could kind of pay back to the Navy then, because they was wanting off them ships. So they go hunt for souvenirs. And finally one day we wasn't having too much on food there, because we was strung out so far away. But anyway, on one of them little flat boats that was come up and put them in that, in one of them in the dry docks, there's a big package of beef, that had dropped there, but it broke open. So some of us, we went over there and asked them how much, if they was going to use it, and they said no. So we asked them if we could have it. They said, yeah, get us some souvenirs. So we went and gathered up some stuff, and went back and got that big box of meat, perfectly good meat. We ate good for a while. that was something.
That's a good thing.